1. And we see where the Ollie is actually hitting his stride. He's using his gadget to jump over walls, and a lot of times it's actually not the gadget that we see him running. There is like kind of a better gadget, you know, the free hypnotize is huge, but having that mobility to get up in the face of Angelo, who cannot out DPS you realistically if you're playing the Ollie. Now, into the Leon, different story. We already saw that one happen in game number 1. Ryohe's trying to take this opportunity to get his super farmed up, instead just getting pinched by Moya and Tensai.
Yeah, Ryohe peppered down now at range by Tensai, and they both choose to back off, live to fight another day, as we're now playing left to right with the Eve just up top, but all 3 members of Crazy Raccoon not looking in a bad spot. There's the super as well from Moya, burn down damage onto Kuru. Now can they find the killing blow? Not yet. He's juking so well, and Tensai's going to go down to the gadget. Ryohe comes in with the super. Moya going to get hypnotized, and Milkreo, what can you do in a 3v1 against this competition? Absolutely nothing. He accepts his fate, and Navi even the score.
What a turning point. Ollie with the kickflip just pops a sick trick, and then what do you even do into that if you're Angelo? We saw it be such a shutdown for this brawler, who was picked so early on in the draft as well. So kudos, the good kind, you know, not the kind that you give to your random who went 0-6. Over here to Navi for picking up the Ollie and making it work, because as far as the discussion surrounding this brawler, he doesn't usually, he doesn't fit the archetype that the newest brawler usually does, where they're just so strong that you have to pick him. This is our first time seeing him picked in a monthly final this year, which, okay, it's the first one, but still, we've gotten through several matches. Already early takedown on Nakuru from long range from the Leon.
I mean, that's brilliant from Tensai. I wasn't expecting him to do so much damage at range, but what a start from Crazy Raccoon. Couldn't have really asked for a better one. All should be fairly close to the supers now as well. Angelo already has that. But Tensai, after a lot of peppering down, shouldn't be too far off getting his.
Once again, long-range matchup down the diagonal. Moya trying to keep his distance from Ryohe, who's sneaking down. Also, possibly waiting for someone to fall into the jaws of his trap so that he can get his super and enforce the endgame. Crucial mistake for Navi was allowing Kuru to be taken down early on. Should just be keeping the distance. He wasn't even really backed up all the way into spawn. So it was quite avoidable. Ended up forcing a 2v3 for the remainder of the team. You're just not winning that realistically. But it's drive time. One more round for Creighton. They take the entire set.
आवाज आ रही है भाई.
Moya going to be able to pick it up with Tensai. Nice stuff from him. Now the super's on the floor too, and Chape has to jump to avoid that shot, but Ryohe put himself in an awful position now, has to super away, but still going to go down.
वरना मैं चला. अच्छा, मुंह से बोलो भाई साहब. जय श्री राम बोल
Crazy Raccoon will not falter there. They take that, they take the set, and they're ahead against a tough opponent.
अपन काफी लेट हो गया यार.
I think
बहुत टाइम पहले ही चला गया ना. यार भाई 11 बजे से चल रही है चैंपियनशिप, बट अब आया ना. क्या हाल है भाई, क्या हाल है?
You know, Reddy, you called that out in the beginning, the Ollie, and I'm just so much interested in you unpacking this further for us.
It was into the Angelo matchup specifically. Angelo's just such a good brawler. For this mode, where the objective is kill but don't get killed, and that's like the thing that Angelo is the best at, but he settles into this archetype of a sniper. He's not really able to do much in close range. He doesn't have like incredible DPS. He just does good, like high damage shots at long range. Ryohe gets up close and personal, and Moya's not able to reload the damage to deal with Ollie, even though Ollie has quite lackluster damage. In come game number 3, we see pretty much Angelo just keeping his distance from Ryohe the entire time.
भाई भी है क्या? और रियल भी आ गया भाई. क्या सीन है भाई? कुछ सीन नहीं है भाई. तो तुम पेपर पेपर ना दो. वॉइस बंद करो स्ट्रीम से.
Took down the RT early, and you're just not winning a 2.
स्ट्रीम की वॉइस बंद कर दो. अबे स्ट्रीम की वॉइस बंद कर दूंगा तो मेरी आएगी भाई. फिर बस बैकग्राउंड तो आएगा ही नहीं. फिर मैं.
It was a joy to watch that kind of play out here. You think we're witnessing maybe a little birth of a new meta, some changes, something
अरे कोई नहीं, मैं भी नहीं कर रहा.
Well, I mean, it didn't win, so maybe at least halfway.
Take a look at who's having fun. We check those player cams as we pan over our players, and that's what's important here. There is a lot of money on the line this season, though. So let's keep that in mind, too, as we think about the stakes in this battle, because both of these teams are teams that could theoretically have their eyes on these huge prize pools. And they have yet another map ahead of them to prove who deserves it more this month and all months future. How do you think it's going to go, Trav?
I mean, this is seeming
एक्सलेट
like
भाई
Crazy
आप
Raccoon
रियल
are
आईडी
the
से
team
तो आओ
that
तब मजा
should be
आएगा.
winning this. Like after that first set, Navi's draft really did not seem on
हाँ
point for me.
चलेगा ना,
Ollie,
उनकी
it's
सुननी भी नहीं है.
optimistic, but I just
सुनने
don't
से
think it's
ज्यादा
going to work in this
चुभती
meta
है
until
उनकी
we see
आवाज
some changes to
कानों
it.
में.
The band's coming in. Star Bounty,
भाई
similar
साहब.
vibe. As Red said, kill and try not to be killed is the aim of the game for Knockout, and pretty much the same in Bounty. Piper, Juju, and Gene bands from Crazy Raccoon. On the other side, we see the Gus, the Piper, and the Bell bands. We see RT coming down as a first pick. They reclaim that brawler once more.
We've said it all day long. Safe first pick. Give yourself a launch pad for as many things as possible, but I would say that RT leans more into the realm of, well, I don't want to commit to anything too hard. I want to be good into stuff that gets up in my face, but I want to also be playable
Fake
in
भाई.
things that are at long range. So I think that's the mentality
Lol.
going with that
Fake
selection.
ID का मजा
8-bit
अलग
now
है.
coming out from Crazy Raccoon. Take a look at the bans over here. So with Bell banned by Navi, I think that makes this quite possible.
और
I
क्या
just
क्या चल रहा था
wonder
भाई,
if
क्या क्या
Navi
कर
are
रहे थे
gonna be
सबके
tempted
सब.
to play something like Colette over here maybe, especially with Crazy Raccoon
इस
having
टाइप वाले ईस्ट
this
एशिया का
last
तो मुझे
pick.
तो नहीं लगता भाई अपने यहाँ
It
से
could
कोई इतना
safeguard them
इंटरेस्टिंग है कि
against
भाई सब
something
देख
a
ले.
little up close.
सब
Now,
भाई
with
आलस की
Angelo,
पुड़ियाँ हैं.
they're going to be firing off some super high-powered shots. I don't think RT is going to be able to deal with that too effectively. He doesn't do that great of DPS unless you're following up the shots reliably, which often is not what happens on Shooting Star. You're kind of poking back and forth.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely liking this Crazy Raccoon comp so far. RT as a first pick usually doesn't sit too well with me, especially on Shooting Star where it's quite hard to find those long-range connections with that brawler. And Carl gonna swoop in as well. I do like that. First star should be going their way thanks to that. And
अरे
it's
मैं
also a good
इंस्टा पे
mid-brawler.
रील
You
स्क्रॉल
can
कर रहा
pinch
था.
in pretty
लॉल
well
नाइट
with
बॉट
these walls, as they're not going to be breaking.
ठीक
You're
है,
kind
लेट्स
of
सारे
never going
सलाम
to be left without walls, which is
भाई नाइट
is a
बॉट
good
भी
thing
भयंकर
for
एकदम
Carl,
से एक्टिव सा हो गया. इतने दिनों से
when he
बेचारा
finds
सूखा
those
सूखा
moments,
घूम रहा
sees
था
a
वो
fight
भी.
hook in,
क्या
spin,
होता है.
and get some kills, then it's going to be a big thing for Navi to have.
Gina's also been banned, which is just one of the #1 biggest issues for Carl. See Nanny come in. The
भाई
sniper
इंस्टाग्राम पे
sniper,
रीलें
pretty
स्क्रॉल
much.
होंगी बस
The
जिंदगी में और
ability
कुछ
to
होगा.
reflect damage with Nanny is crucial. It's like the main reason that she shuts down Piper so hard, but also with the ability to use his head, get pretty much remote damage on the enemy team, should be able to threaten some of the squishier targets. That probably means that Milkrio might want to lean more towards stinging flight, get the jump away instead of the ability to shoot through walls. Squeak as a final selection from Crazy Raccoon. So I'm trying to find out how this one is going to slot in. I think you can keep like some pretty good control on a single lane. Squeak actually is quite
stream
tricky
की आवाज
as
कम
well,
कर.
so might be able to weave up a
Stream
lane.
की आवाज.
But honestly, I mean, I have to call on you, Trav, for if you have any math for this.
I don't really,
Yeah.
to be honest. Like, for me, I just think Crazy
अब देखो अब
Raccoon
होगी.
have just got a pretty well-rounded comp overall, and Navi, I don't mind theirs at all. I think the Nanny definitely kind of resurrected somewhat what they had. As Nanny, I think, is just an incredible brawler on this map. But Squeak, yeah, not really something that
अरे तेरे बढ़ा दे
it's fine.
और
like,
तेरी बढ़ा दे. वही तो बोल रहा हूँ. फेक भाई ये योगेश भाई सुनते ही
seems
नहीं.
a little bit susceptible to Carl going in and getting some damage.
Well, we see Rio, he actually forced
अरे
him
एक्चुअली
back
समझ
up
पता है
by
सीन
one.
क्या है इसमें यार.
Navi start things with Star, but in terms they've
ये
done
बंद कर,
all
ये
good
ऑन कर दे.
Crazy Raccoon. They're facing
अब देखो
serious
अब आ रही है
damage,
सही.
long-range
अब हो गई
Rio.
कम.
He also dropped to pretty low health, cannot keep up any of that pressure. But Tensai Moya also dropped pretty low thanks to the efforts of Kuru and a choppy on the mid and right lanes. Milkrio and Moya just keeping up the pressure. It's kind of tough for Moya. He's not really able to dodge or juke shots well, but he does have good range. He has a lot of health. So
आपकी भी कम है. बोल तो रहा हूँ पूरे ही कम कर दो. बंद कर दो सबसे बेस्ट. उनकी आवाज की किसी को सुननी ही नहीं.
I mean, to be honest, I think he probably wants
OP
to
भाई.
keep away from the Squeak, just because if your Squeak gets hit with a Nanny head, Rio Hay goes in, and that's going to be pretty much be a guaranteed killer.
बस ये महंगी महंगी स्किन लेके आ जाते हैं भाई. अरे एंटीवायरस से अच्छा तो भाई साहब वायरस वाला ही 8-bit लग रहा था.
This back wall, though, and a slowed Carl is not going to be a good thing for them. Super comes in. No connections on the Super, though, from the
फेक
Squeak.
भाई
After all
रणवीर
that work to get it, it didn't do too much. He should be able to
भाई
find
उसका तो
some
पॉडकास्ट
job
निकल
there,
गया.
but it's not getting the hits.
Man,
उसका
Rio
करियर
getting
खा गया भाई
tortured
लोग.
back there on back left. Finally, Tensai Tensai manages to claim his first victim.
कितने बुरे लोग हैं भाई जिंदगी में.
The tide has shifted. Everything moving over to the side. Crazy Raccoon, Nanny Head going for Tensai, but there's no one really to answer the call. Ryogi's not in a position where he can flying hook inwards.
वो भाई साहब सोचता होगा भयंकर बैठा हुआ घर में वो कौन सी मनूस घड़ी थी जब मैंने हाँ भर दिया उसके लिए.
Ryogi taking so much damage and he goes down. It's a 3-star lead for Crazy Raccoon and not a possibility of Navi bringing this back. With Crazy Raccoon amplifying that
GG गेम हो गया भाई.
7 stars and a blue star. Securing.
ये तेंसाई भाई बहुत फ्री है भाई, बहुत ठाली इंसान है भाई तेंसाई. हर चैंपियनशिप में पार्टिसिपेट करेगा.
I'm not sure. I was a little bit scared for that matchup, to be honest with you. As you know, you kind of expect Carl to just be able to get within range, get a few shots, get the super, flying hook and get the kill. But Tensai kept him at arm's length, and I think it's a respectable performance from him to be able to do that.
And I think this really speaks to the emergent gameplay that comes out of just the mechanical level. I mean, I know we talk about this a lot, but mechanical level of the players in this region, where you're able to trust in yourself and say, I don't need this matchup that wins.
कोई नहीं, पोस्टकार्ड तो जेल में भी होता है, बस फर्क इतना है सेलिब्रिटी की जगह इस बार जेल में रहने वाले पोस्टकार्ड. भाई उनकी स्टोरी सुनने में मजा आएगा भैया. बट फिर भी यार भैया गलत ही सीन है भाई, गलत ही सीन.
To a kill from Milkreo. Kuru still taking damage. A kill on a choppy. Tensai's trying to finish the job, but again, vulnerable to Ryohi. He willingly put himself in that position. Was quite greedy. And look at what it's done.
ले रहे भाई उसको लपेटे में ले रहे हैं.
Leading almost flawlessly. Now you have conceded 3 stars to Navi, making it just a 1-star lead.
Yeah, I mean, finally Ryohi got some supercharge as well, so now that if he goes in with the flying hook, he should be able to find the hits to be able to get the super in and out. Moya marked up's going to take a lot of damage from that, though. The peak finds its way towards him, and now it's only 1 star in between it. 4-3. Now Ryohei choosing to go forwards, gets his super as well, and wonderful position for them to be in now. How much just having a super changes the tides.
Crazy Raccoon in a difficult position. Thankfully, they do have the turret down, and they can defend themselves a little bit better. They're all locked in this position now. 20 seconds to go. Navi literally only need 1 kill to bring this in their favor. Milkreo's on pretty low health. He's taking a chance to heal up. 15 seconds. Navi have to make a move. Crazy Raccoon crossing their fingers. They all managed to keep their bearings. Ryohi hang on to about 5,000 health and needs to go in now. Here's a flying hook. Super into an odd position. Is it going to work? No, nothing. Not a win in sight. And Crazy Raccoon take the set.
कर दिया क्या? अरे नहीं पता नहीं क्या पता भाई वो सो क्या नहीं उठाओ.
What a very weird flying hook. It was like into the middle of nowhere, right? Like with 2 seconds on the clock, he's pretty much finishing his flying hook when he's getting to nowhere. It's not like he was going in either. Did just feel a little bit odd to me. But at the end of the day, you know, 1 kill for the entire Navi squad is just not going to get them anywhere. I felt like they had a pretty decent composition going into it. I didn't feel like they were massively outdrafted yet.
बस एक मैच और जीत गई तो जीत गई सीधा टाइम.
Okay, yeah, this is pretty good. But Squeak was an unusual one, but it definitely worked out well.
I cannot believe how dominant Crazy Raccoon looks in this matchup. I know this was not the team that a lot of us had chosen to move on. And I'm a little bit scared, guys. The numbers are
Master की आईडी बैन हो गई तो वो मैं. Who is the longest active player in Navi?
You seem more confident than anyone about Crazy
बता दो भाई
Raccoon
कौन सा है. मेरे को तो अरसा हो गया भाई देखे हुए.
Do you think this is going to continue throughout this matchup? Is Navi going to pick up some speed?
I'm seeing the momentum from Crazy Raccoon, and I'm seeing the drafts that they pulled out, particularly in set number 1. I liked their draft better. But set number 2 is when you really start to see the fact that, dude,
Master की आईडी हो गई बैन हो गई तो वो और मैं.
One of these players has a resume. Even the newest addition to the squad.
Minecraft खेलते हो तुम?
His roadmap to get here made it so far.
मुझे भी बता देना भाई Minecraft.
After pretty much being out of the consideration for so long.
मैं भी आ जाऊँगा.
Look at Navi. I think they're getting mechanic diff. But this is not a story that we have not seen before. And look, folks, I fell for it. Again, after so many years of doing this region, everyone always says,
पता नहीं मैं तो वैसे ही नहीं देखता.
Oh yeah, you know, Tensai, Moya, Crazy Raccoon, whoever might be.
भाई तो खाना खा रहा है भाई, खाता खाता खेल रहा है नावी वाला, जब भी तो हार रहा है. मुंह में दे रखा है पेड़ा.
And then they just kind of do. And it happens so frequently, and Trav, I think we might be
आईडी बताओ मैं रिक्वेस्ट भेज देता हूँ अरे मेरे को तो अरसा हो गया भाई उससे पहले ओपन करूँगा फिर पता चलेगा
history possibly repeats itself.
Yeah, I mean, this is just unfortunate for Navi. First set, as you said, down to draft. Second set, I felt like they had a fine draft and they were just outskilled. We'll see which way it goes for set number 3, whether or not this is going to be the last time we see Navi in the month of February and Crazy Raccoon move on. Or if we'll actually bounce back, because that's what I'd like to see. I don't want to see this go 3-0 when this should be an extremely close game. But the bans on Gen 4 are the Gus, the Otis, and the Melody.
अरे कर लो ओपन अभी तो ड्राफ्ट में है टाइम है
And the Gus as well. So double ban on the Gus shows how strong that brawler is. And the Stu rolls in for Crazy Raccoon. It's been a great pick all day, and I don't see it stopping there.
Yeah, and previously we saw it actually be quite successful. Art really loved this one into the Frank, and I think Frank is a real threat anywhere. Definitely more on gym grab than something like knockout, for instance. So we're finally getting a taste of a different sort of mode. We saw control aspects. We watched Bounty.
Poco Shoko, Poco Loco.
Okay, so I'm already seeing 2 remnants of a draft that we saw on Open Business earlier. Now look, it's only a couple brawlers, but Poco isn't a brawler you really see every other day. As far as hypercharges go, his is definitely one of the weakest. But you're gonna
अब तो भाई नया मोड भी आने वाला है रैंक में भाई सब प्रो पास तेरा पास मेरा पास सबका पास
could mean that a kit is waiting in the wings.
Honestly, it probably means that it definitely is. Because like this is just lining up perfectly for
मास्टर भी एलियन में होगा
they love it.
धोनी को बोले जो
every draft if they get a chance.
बोले जो कोयल बागों में
Might actually kind of account for that.
सुन रहा होगा
Very, very anti-kit comp.
ये क्या बोल दिया भाई
They're gonna go with the berry, a healer, and in the mid definitely very good to be able to play behind these.
Spotlight, welcome to the stream भाई आप इतने महीने बाद हाँ भाई इतने महीने बाद Yes, I am जिंदा भाई पास खेलेंगे सब अब गेम नहीं खेलेंगे
It's going to be nutty. I think that they can have a lot of control here. Barry and Draco is just an insane combo. When we talk about... There's Frank, by the way. So, I mean, should we really be surprised?
Frank not.
Okay, let's finish up the Barry and Draco discussion. On, say, like, Hot Zone, Draco has emerged as a top pick because of his ability to just stay in an area.
एलन में जाता है तो एलन वालों ने धोनी को बुलाया था बच्चों से मिलने के लिए अच्छा धोनी को बुलाया था क्या भाई थाला को इतना पैसा आ गया था भाई ट्यूशन वालों पे ट्यूशन वालों पे इतना पैसा आ गया था धोनी को बुलाया
Are they considering the Frank? And then the Poco appears, and yes, the Frank is here, except he's going to be playing with another tank at the same time. And honestly, maybe I should hit myself a little bit for not seeing this happen with the Buster being one of the good ways to deal with potential Frank super.
Well, a good start for Navi, and Crazy Raccoon kind of just stood watch. Oh, what a super that is from Milkray, though. One of the rare instances you see it go kind of just solo aggressive into what could have been 3 people if Ryohei was in a better position. Milkray got 4 now, and Ryohei just in the back looking to try and take down Moy. Gets the stun onto him, and 3 members of Navi collapse onto it.
4 gems for Crazy Raccoon so far on the safest brawler that they can... Well, actually, wouldn't be a bad shout to have it on Stu instead. But Milkray is going to have quite a lot of movement to deal with here. We'll see the Hypercharge in from Ryohei, going straight for the back lines. And the Gadget in, punished by Moya. Thankfully, a Choppy stays alive. There's a slow-mo replay. That's a Hypercharge popped by Tensai. Milkray in to snag the gems. And what's Tensai doing? I don't know. He's just scooting around. Got to show off a little bit as they bring in the countdown. Unless Navi interrupt this, it's going to be Crazy Raccoon bringing this in for a match point, completely subverting expectations. One last chance. Ryohei in with the interruption. Moya still alive. Kuru just fighting for his life all alone on the Poco. what's supposed to be the support has been left
मतलब कुछ
completely
चेस नहीं जा
estranged.
रहे हैं क्या?
Yeah, it seemed like Tensai was just dancing on their
हाँ
faces
फिर
a bit when
तुम्हारा
he got the
चेट
kills,
भाई
but
साहब
now
मेरे पास
Ryohei's
वो आ
coming in,
गया
trying to look for revenge. Almost getting
ये
the
तो
shots
झूठ
through, but it's
नहीं
just going towards
बोलूंगा
Moya, and Navi
कोई
not getting a look in.
हो
What a
कोई भी
turnaround that
अच्छा
was from CR. It seemed like Navi were in control of the mid, but this
हाँ
double
तो भाई
tank
ये वाला
Draco is just not working out for them at range, where Berry can
कर
play
लिया
and
बट मैंने
Draco can get a bit more range on them when he's kind of spurting out that fire, and Stu just too good at getting out of those sticky situations.
Dude, how did I not even realize this is Poco double tank in the modern age? Folks, if you've been watching Brawl Stars since the era of blind picks and bans, this used to be such a shutdown strategy. You're playing rock, paper, scissors, you run Poco double tank. If they don't have the counters, if they don't have tank counters, then they are absolutely cooked. And it's happening again. But Navi have managed to get a good hold on this point to boot. I think it's going to hinge a lot on supporting Ryohi here, because he's really the team's main chance against the Draco. Not much Draco can really do against the Draco.
The double pull in there as well from the Frank. Nice stuff from Ryohei, but taking some damage along the way. Moya looking around the back to try and get a pinch in, and all it's going to take is one turnaround from CR to be able to flip this game on its head, and they're getting a lot of damage in now. Around the flank is Tensai, who's trying to clean up, but Kuru keeping them nice and healed. Frank's still looking a little low, but Moya on the lower side, so has to retreat all the way back, but switching into this form will give him some heals along the way.
Milfrio in with a hypercharge could be a massive destruction. Tensai trying to encircle and trap his prey, but Kuru remains alive. Point stands though. Crazy Raccoon have control of mid. Moya also has the super. He's going to need a Ryohi in with a hypercharge. No super. Might as well pop it. Decides not to. Save it for Moya, who still has one more gadget left in the tank. Kuru, meanwhile, probably preparing for the final push to try and exterminate Crazy Raccoon. Here comes the hypercharge, shielding up the team. A Choppy now also trying to move in, but everyone's trying to stay out of the range of Ryohi at the same time. The heals from Milkrio, keeping everyone from Crazy Raccoon alive. Navi running out of steam on this push. They're going to have to figure something out to stay alive. Ryohi, big play! And the heals in. Milkrio trying to interrupt, but falls with all the gems.
Yeah, they're just leaving the gems on the floor there as well. I can't help but feel like they maybe could have got a few more, but they do have the count, and Kuru doesn't have heal just yet. We see the dashing around Tensai trying to get in the back. They get a good shots in, but they're just surviving. Narrowly can Tensai get them all down. Gets one, but the countdown still remains. Goes in again, but not this time as Navi do hold strong.
Tensai was like a millimeter away from the play of the year. Hypercharge Stu all the way to the back lines. Both enemies on one tap, but he didn't have the ammo to get it done. Gave it his all, tried to use the extra damage from breakthrough to eliminate things, but every single pellet went into the one enemy with 3,000 health instead of 500. That's brutal. That was so close. I know that Tensai is thinking in his mind that that was so possible for him. Instead, the match point persists. Navi finally starting to get some ground here.
और बताओ सही है अभी कैसे लग रहे हैं चोमूलाल से भाई साहब बिना आवाज के सन्नाटा ले गया भाई हाइपर चार्ज वाला पोको ले बैरी भी दे दी हाइपर ले गया भाई बैरी डबल डबल बोरो डबल हाइपर सब जगह आइसक्रीम फैला दी भाई सुकून भाई ये बोलो तुम रील भी देख रहे हो साथ में तो तुम्हें रील की आवाज़ भी नहीं आ रही ठीक है ना सुकून मत बोलो भाई ऐसे बाकी वो जो चैलेंज आ रखा है भाई साहब गेम के अंदर कर लिया तुम लोगों ने चैलेंज वो फोकट वाला अरे देवा टेंसा ही अलग ही मढ़ा पड़ा है भाई साहब स्टू को लेके ओपी चलो जीत गए भाई क्रेजी रकून हाँ कब का कर लिया 20 मिनट 20 मिनट में ही तो हो गया था साला सब बॉट्स आए थे टेंसाई को माँ जीत गए भाई, गेम खत्म। 0-3 भाई, एक मैच तो जीत जाती नावी। नावी ये कच्ची पूड़ी वाले प्लेयर देते हैं क्या भाई ये मंथली फाइनल्स में, जैसे फैब हो गई इन सब में? योर प्रेडिक्शन वाज करेक्ट, ओ माय गॉड, थैंक यू सो मच। गेम खत्म, पैसा हजम। ये आ गए 3 जमूरे, एक जमूरी भी है भाई इसमें इस बार। ये बीच वाला कैसा है एंकर, एआई से बनाया क्या इसको? कच्ची पूड़ी हो द एमवीपी ऑफ दिस मैच। चलो भाई टेंसाई को दे दो। रियो ही 1% यार, रियो ही की तो बेइज्जती कैडी कर रखी। कच्ची पूड़ी, हाँ भाई कच्ची पूड़ी है इन नावी वालों ने जो भाई साहब जिन्हें मिल नहीं पाता ना कि हमें भी खेलना है, हमें भी खेलना है, तो उन्हें ऐसी ऐसे ऐसे चैंपियनशिप में भेज देते हैं, ले तू भी खेल ले, जा कर ले अपनी इच्छा पूरी। हाँ यार वो भी भाई साहब क्या बोल रहे हैं? ये बीच वाला एआई है भाई ब्रैकेट्स नावी चली गई, रिजेक्ट और रिजेक्ट और जेटा रिवीजन। चलो भाई जेटा और क्रेजी रकून का होगा फाइनल मैच है। दो मिनट बाद होगा मैच, इतना इनकी बीच वाला ये आई है भाई अच्छा रिप्ले भी दिखा रहे हैं। ओह सॉरी, ऐसी बात नहीं बोलनी। अरे वो बात दिखी ही नहीं भाई वो बात सिर्फ मैं रीड कर सकता हूँ। आप तो अब तक एमसी की आईडी दो, मैं माइनक्राफ्ट में फ्रेंड रिक्वेस्ट भेजता हूँ। रुको, चीटिंग चीटिंग यही है, कुछ शक्तियाँ हैं भाई साहब। ड्रैको भी सही है यार, है बहुत टाइम हो गया यार, मैंने ड्रैको से तो खेला ही नहीं। उससे पहली बात मैं अपग्रेड ही कर लूँ, लेवल 9 का ही पड़ा हुआ है मेरा ड्रैको। जेटा और रिजेक्ट, ड्रैको अभी मेटा में है। हाँ ड्रैको अभी मेटा में है और खा पेठा रहा है वो। जेटा में कौन है? सिजुको, लीवी, सीता टेम्पो। अरे सीता टेम्पो तो भाई यहाँ आ गया जेटा में, ये मैं क्या देख रहा हूँ? अरे ये कौन है भैया? छोरा है छोरी? अरे भैया ये बीबी किसने बैठा दी चेयर पे सफेद बाल करके? ये रिजेक्ट वाले भाई साहब ऐसे हैं क्या? और रिजेक्ट का ये आइकन क्या बना रखा है? 12 सिंगा के सींग तोड़ दिए। जापान। हाँ स्मार्ट लग रहा है, चलो जैकेट सही कर रहा है। डेविड नहीं कर पा रहा था। ड्रैको भी आपका लेवल 9 का तो है, मेरा तो लेवल 1 का है। Made debut in 2022, March was top 4 with winter, second with win trade, top 4 with third game. Decide नहीं कर पा रहा था, क्या बनूं? अरे वो एआई चला गया क्या बीच में जो बैठा रखा था एक चोमूलाल, उसकी जगह अभी से बैठा दिया भाई। इसका एक ही काम है, जब सामने वाला कोई बोले ना मुंडी हिलाने का, देखा पर दांत दिखा देगा, अब वापस मुंडी हिलाएगा। और यू का कैफेटेरिया में बैठ के कर रहा है स्ट्रीमिंग। लेवी सीधा टेम्पो जेटा ले भैया, पीली रेड बुल, अब तो पेल देगा भाई साहब। रेड बुल की व्यू विंग्स। बीवी के न्यू गुड रैंडम वाली स्किन आएगी, मैं बताऊं कहाँ से पता चला? अरे आएगी जब देखी जाएगी भाई। अभी तो फिलहाल मैंने जो मेरी फेवरेट स्किन थी ना, ऑलमोस्ट सारी मैंने खरीद ली हैं भाई गेम के अंदर। अब तो मन ही नहीं कर रहा कोई किसी को भी देख के खरीदने का स्किन को। ये सीधा टेम्पो लेकर आया। देख भाई देख, बंदी ने मैसेज करा है, देख जल्दी देख, क्या रिप्लाई करूं बता, देख। वो हंसने लगा भाई। अरे चालू कर दो रे ब्रॉल टॉक। हाउ आर यू फीलिंग अबाउट सर? अच्छा जी, लास्ट ईयर वी प्लेड ऑन हांगकांग सर्वर एंड वी मेड ऑल लेटेसी एंड सच, which made it a difficult year. But now we are back on the usual Tokyo server with Japan and Korean team playing. So presently I am very happy that we can play with no delays. How do you envision future for the esports on the own? All stars become more regular and popular each year. Okay, bro. And it would be great if they are reflecting on the competitive season. For myself, first of all, I have the qualify for world and so I believe it's important to consistently perform well. अच्छा जी, Zeta 2001 at Worlds plus Grand Final MVP, 2002 and Worlds MS Champion, top 4 at World, third at Mobile. पूरा भयंकर स्टैट्स तो काफ़ी हैवी हैं इसके। अरे नहीं, अरे ये भी तो रिजेक्ट की टीम में ही है ना, उसकी वजह से पता लगा मुझे कि न्यू स्किन आ रही है बीबी की। अरे नहीं, वो बाप का मैसेज आया था, उसके बाद बोल रहा था कि घर मत आ जाइए वरना भाई मम्मी, वो बंदी का ही मैसेज था भाई। भाई ये बंदी ने मैसेज करा है, देख क्या रिप्लाई करूँ। अब इसने क्या स्पाइक को पीछे गिटार पकड़ा रखा है? पहला है तुम्हारा शूटिंग स्टार बाउंटी, ठीक है। बंदी का नाम क्या होगा वैसे, गेस करो। क्या पता क्या होगा भाई, कुछ होगा चीनी चूनी। ये बीच वाला कैसे बैठा है भाई साहब, मस्त मलंग हो गए। स्पाइक ने पोको से उधार नहीं लिया है बेटे। पोको ने स्पाइक से 500 रुपये उधार लिए थे, टाइम से दे नहीं पाया तो जब्त कर लिया उनने उसका गिटार। जेटा 78%, रिजेक्ट ही हो गई भाई साहब 22% लेके। अब पीछे तो नीला नीला आ गया और कुछ नहीं है। ये जेटा के उसमें बैठे होंगे ऑफिस या हेडक्वार्टर में। सीधा टेम्पो तो परेशान है भाई, बंदी को क्या रिप्लाई दूँ, गेम के बीच में उसे मैसेज कर देता हूँ, बाद में बात करूँगा। ये बीबी आ गई भाई वापस से ड्राफ्ट में। पाइपर, हाँ वो स्पाइक से ने पोको से उधार पे दिया था। अच्छा जी, ले भाई कमर में दर्द हो गया बंदे की। आर्ट ही ले लिया, ग्रे ले लिया।
So far, I think there are a lot of possibilities for reject. I think they're keeping themselves
पाइपर
quite
सॉन्ग
flexible.
tutorial।
Gray is able to.
पिप्पुर, अबे पिप्पुर क्या होता है भाई? पाइपर होता है वो।
Also with the hypercharge, you know, you get healing when you go in. That's pretty nice. You get healing when you go out. Excuse me, not healing, but the shield. You can get healing if you decide to stack it with the star power, and also having the ability to teleport all the way across the map, chain your teleports together. Here's Gus. Okay, another safe, long-range option. Gus as a sniper is just incredible because not only does he have good health and damage and kill confirmation with the gadget, he can literally just shield himself. So why would you ever want to go toe-to-toe with this guy? I want to also go back to that matchup that you had earlier, and I really like that. I wonder why it hasn't been selected here. Melody. Now, from Zeta, this is a Stetanto favorite, one that he excels at. Now, Reject do have some anti-aggro measures. I don't think they'll have really the DPS to deal with this with Gray, but they've kept themselves safe from a thrower so far.
Yeah, East Asia really are enjoying their melody across all the modes, aren't they? They really are. And hey, you know, maybe the other regions are missing a trick in that. Maybe we'll see them adapt into some melody after watching back the monthly finals. We see that sometimes. Regions will take ideas from each other. Bell coming as the third and final pick here from Reject. I mean, it's not the flashiest of comps by any means at all with the Bell and the RT, with the Grey for me. But it's a safe pair of hands, but the aggression, I think there's a much bigger story to be told on the side here of Zeta. Going on with the long range sharpshooters combined with the melody up.
ये लो भागेश भाई, आप वर्ल्ड चैंपियन को आज से आपकी ट्रॉफी। अरे मेरे को कोई ये बताओ भाई, ये सीधा टेम्पो जेटा में क्या कर रहा है? मंथली के लिए आया क्या बस, या परमानेंट हो गया शिफ्ट ये जेटा में?
Heist maps, you know, it could work in Kaboom Canyon all day long, but I mean, it's just so versatile and it's so strong. And the cookie popper gadget as well.
Gadget waste हो गया भाई
इसका. Secure kills if you're really quick on your thumbs. It's very strong at the moment in the current meta.
Okay, that hurts. Melty with the hook didn't manage to get Suzuku through that wall, so it's Suzuku that's going to be piloting the Melody today rather than Stetampo, who's opted to go for this Piper lane on the left side, which you should have the advantage in.
पता नहीं चेंज कर लिया होगा। अरे यार मुझे भी यार तो दिक्कत हो जाएगी फिर।
Just the highlights from the event, you'll notice or you'll remember an awesome pull that Melty got that turned into a double pull. Just massive
OP.
play. Okay, Shdetampo taken down by Batoman. That's a lead for Reject. It sort of seemed like Zeta were running the show so far. They were getting good damage, but just that one kill confirmation from Batoman has now flipped the
अंबल
script.
से हारने के बाद मैं मन उठ गया
Melty thought about it, missed mark though there from
मन
Shu.
उठ गया होगा
Proved
किसी रकम
costly.
से
Tap onto Tampa, who returns fire onto
क्या
Batoman.
पता अभी तो हम
Down
मजाक में
very,
बोल
very
रहे हैं
low
और क्या
here.
पता ये बात हो
Zeta, you can feel it. They're creeping up upon their prey. Probably not too far away. It's Tampa from a hypercharge now. As now Suzuka goes in. Will he come out? He does. So far, so good. The right hand side of this slow. Expecting Levi. Melty goes in.
OP
The
भाई
walking cake connection and gets the kill for it as well. It's Reject now in the lead. And Melty forced it forwards even more so. Tampa's forced away. He may have even gone down there. But it is Reject that are bang in front in the driving seat here, ready.
I am losing my mind over here. Reject have just pulled off some
भाई ये
crazy
मेल्टी क्या कर रहा है यार बहन का
Melty
ग्रे को
with
लेके
a menace teleported on the right, denies the Melody, then a long pull again, just to put the hurt on him. 15 seconds left for Zay to bring this back. They got a Melody hypercharge, but they don't really have the health to execute. Melty pops a hypercharge of his own. No impact, no walking canes to make any use out of
एक नहीं लगी मैं
Batman. Melty can take him down.
पहली बार देखा हारने के बाद लोग
left side, but it's just not
डिप्रेशन में नहीं जाते दूसरी टीम में जाते हैं और भाई सबको तरक्की देखनी है भैया
But the momentum is in their hands.
ये मेल्टी तो कैड़ा ही खेल गया भाई साहब ग्रे को लेके जो तो हम चोमू समझ रहे थे
That really went from bad
ये
to
तो छुपा
worse.
रुस्तम निकला भैया
And nothing can go wrong with this series, right? In terms of our predictions, ready? We were saying, coming in, Celta just wanted to confirm that we don't see this going against our predictions, right? We're like, nope, absolutely not. No way that happens. Well, hate to be the bearer of bad news. That was not the start there for Zeta. But I think the draft is still very solid. I think the mechanics are still very much under their thumbs. Ooh, what a little gadget there for Tampa onto Batman, but Batman
एक तो hypercharge नहीं चाहिए थी यार reward में
going down here, so you got to commend the guy again. Someone who's been out of the competitive scene for 2 years, already said. I mean, the only real instance I can think of an example of someone else has done that is Gugu in the EMEA region. It doesn't happen very often for good reason, right?
Pretty much. I mean,
इस बार भी
they're
edge paste कर दिया
out of the spotlight for a couple of years. There's usually a good reason for it. It's just because they're not cutting the mustard. Okay, Shdetampo leads off this charge with a kill on the right side. Zeta Division denying even a single star to Reject, but they are not going to stop that pressure. Shdetampo in with a hypercharge. There's one. Doesn't really need to get another one on Shu, and he doesn't have the gadget to confirm it onto him either. But it's all good. Zeta Division now have this opening to bring things back to their home front. Obviously want to cover their retreat. They'll have more terrain that they can play around here. Suzuki also, with the reposition to the left side, gets his hypercharge off of that. That's crucial. But he's smart and taken down actually good interaction there in favor of Suzuki because he wants to be able to use his hypercharge and super without being marked. Now, going for Shu, looking for the kill on this one. Doesn't have enough gas in the tank to go for another, but he's got another 3 supers at his disposal.
खा गया वापस से ओ भाई क्या डॉज कर रहा है ये क्या बच रहा है बंदा चलो मर गया अगर ये मर गया दिक्कत और
Ooh, I can tell this is going to be a spicy match for this grand finals, Brody. I love it.
Yes, entire match just based off of this set so far. It has looked so even. The back and forth has been incredible between these two. Blue Star, Zeta Division, most likely, but Suzuki doesn't want to get pulled. Already tapped up twice, punished. Melty looking for the kill confirmed. Shots really not going where they needed to, but he has an opportunity to get Levi. Shu lines up the final shot. He was able to push up mid and apply that pressure because he'd done so much damage to Suzuki earlier on, even though he didn't get the kill. Another hook on Suzuki. Teleport behind you. Nothing personnel, kid, to advance the lead to 5 stars and a blue star.
Oh, the tap exchange there was beautiful. Stethampo still came out on top, but it could have gone either way between himself and Shu, and comes back in immediately with a takedown there of Suzuki.
मेल्टी इसलिए अच्छा खेल रहा है क्योंकि वो लड़का तरह सोच सकता अच्छा
Could have been a potential for disaster there, but it wasn't capitalized on effectively enough by Reject. I have a charge pop, flashed the Tampo, but not able to find the super off the back of things. In fact, nothing at all. Every shot missed now, and Zay's starting to crumble a little bit. They do need a takedown. There is time on their side. They've got just under a minute now. Melty low, but not going to get taken care of whatsoever. Oh, the Hacks gadget of Batterman strikes then.
Reject got to be gearing up for a big defense, though. The final 40 seconds. Still plenty of time for a Zeta Division to get a good old-fashioned push in. Make it work that way. Here comes the super from Levi. Suzuki trying to punish. What? Completely denied? Like he wasn't even a consideration at all? The team almost all at full health. Levi trying to punish on the right side. Shu stays alive with 336 health left now. Healing back up once again. Zeta Division only have one more chance, but they can't connect onto Melty. The straight lining is out of this world. Final hook. Missed by Melty, doesn't matter. He's able to teleport, might have to. Hypercharge, teleport away from Suzuku, dodging the shots. He's so low, they need one more kill to make it happen. Connection! No! Reject, take the set.
What word? She played out of his mind. He really, that mark, by the way, was what absolutely decimated Suzuku on that melody. He couldn't do anything at all in the final moments because he was marked up so swiftly and just eradicated out of existence. What an amazing first opening set. So much action to unpack.
We got a lot to talk about, gentlemen. And I'm going to put my disappointment in what looks like a dwindling possibility of having a correct second prediction aside.
Hey, it's the first set. It's the first set. We can hope.
I don't know, man. I've seen this go this way a couple times now today. But we got just incredible play from Reject that is keeping them. I thought this is not a fluke. This is not Zeta Division misplaying. You're shouting at the defense they're pulling off, the timing, and I don't even know how they're making this happen. But with your expert eyes,
full makeup वगैरह करके बैठते हैं.
Well, I think, first of all, Melty is just playing a masterclass Gray. We already knew that he was a very good Gray. I started to mention it in-game that there is this awesome clip of him hitting a crucial pull onto Semantic. That was like one of the only sets that Humble dropped the entire world. They dropped 2 sets total, and one of them was in large part due to Melty just playing this insane Gray, and he did it again. It's just ridiculous. Let's also remember, as they completely had their backs all the way against the wall, literally up against the respawn. Melty, what does he do? He straight lines, dodges 3 shots in a row from the Gus and from the Piper. Not a single thing hits him. Just ridiculous. If he can keep up this performance, if the entire team can keep this up, then Mark, we are in for the match that you were hoping for.
Oh, for sure.
Multiple makeup वगैरह करके बैठे.
So well that game. You really did. On a Brawl like that, which is really not that flashy. Banning it out now on the side of Reject, much to their dismay, I'm sure, because, I mean, both sides actually going for that same ban. The Crow ban and the Chuck as well, on the side of Reject, Colette, the Melody, and the Bell for Zay's division here. Really good bans across the board. Like it, Angelo, Eve, those Brawlers, though, can still have a really good place here for me. Kind of surprised actually to see that the berry was valued so highly on safe zone. It is kind of very much out in the open a little bit more. This map, there's some other maps behind them. There's the Angelo. I prefer that as a first pick, kind of Brawl myself, and 8-bit as well. Slow and sluggish for sure, but if left untouched on the safe, it can absolutely shred it. You really have got to be paying close attention. Extra credits gadget got to be there for me for sure. Ultimately, that's how you can really just land as much damage in quick succession if you're able to have an opening for it. I don't mind a Cole here. It's a risky play. I don't think that necessarily anyone's going to go for it, but I really wouldn't mind an Eve.
It would be nice to float over that water, keep toe-to-toe with the Angelo, block some of the shots. Okay, Daryl coming in. Let's talk about some of the other earlier portions of this draft. When you see the bans from Zeta Division, they get rid of the Bell and the Colette, it's basically screaming like, please let me have 8-bit. And then the Angelo comes in and it's all but confirmed that they're going to run this Angelo and 8-bit strategy. And I think Reject caught a whiff of that and decided to go for the Barry as a result. Because any kind of thrower, especially something like Barry, is going to be able to take down that 8-bit turret quite easily. He does need to get in position. He might have to emerge from behind a wall, but should be able to do that. Also, Piper, just so good in into 8-bit. It's like you said, slow, sluggish. He's not really able to dodge the shots from Piper very well. She's able to blow up the walls that he needs to put his stuff behind. Lou is the defensive response to this Daryl, and I have to wonder, right? We're on Heist. He's not going to be able to do much in terms of safe damage. Sort of the perma defense.
I like the Lou response to Daryl for sure. It makes a lot of sense when you think about it, and that was how they decided to really kind of counteract that. They wanted to go on the defense, not the offense, and I would kind of prefer to have the Eve, just because it plays so well into the Piper. You're really struggling to be pushing forwards when you've got hatchlings coming in with the hypercharge now for Eve into such an amazing spot. I mean, it was a bit of an open door for me to counter Piper, but the counter to the Daryl's equal is important, so I get it. I really, really do get it on the side end of both. I like both comps. There's not really much to say that I don't really necessarily like here. And no spinning, though, for Tampa on that skin. That's one thing you can say. No BM to begin into the minds of rejects. But yeah, the barrier, I would say, is probably my sort of strangest kind of...
योगेश भाई वैसे कल 2 डिजाइन बचे हो दोनों इसके टोटल $20 अच्छा चैट मिस नहीं योगेश आपको ये रेड कार्ड दे रहा है
Gadget major consideration out here. We have yet to see it make an impact on the safe. Maybe that's the gadget that remains. We'll have to wait and see. It fades away, so he didn't pop a gadget. Batman's trying to get in position around the right side, though. There's a gadget. Sacrificed himself to get it on their shoe. Also frozen, but doesn't even really matter. Got so much damage on the safe. The aggression is here to play for Reject. Zeta, finally, though, getting their chance to respond in. Look at the damage pouring in. As soon as the boosted booster comes down, that's 50% damage boost. More extra credits pouring out from Levi into the enemy safe, but it's time to play defense as Schnetampo starts to come out to play. Batman now applying the pressure. Now Schnetampo has another enemy he's got to face. Completely frozen Batman. What? Levi with a whiff shot to the left side. Completely cost the defense.
Belts came in clutch there as well with a lovely tap, keeping Batman alive and in the conversation. But look at that. I mean, you can see the confidence in Reject right now. Zeta are just a bit all over the place for me, and it's really, really upsetting to see because we're rooting for these guys. Our predictions are on the line here. I mean, our semi-finals could be really in disaster here. We've already lost one to the previous matchup, and Reject just haven't skipped a beat so far. It's really quite impressive to see, but I mean, I prefer the Zeta draft, honestly. They're just not getting the opening door to really land the mark here. Levi now on the right-hand side does find the save, lands the extra credit.
ये भी रिजेक्ट जीतेगी भाई लग रहा है
Very quickly, good taps though there from the Lou onto the mid, but Shu doing his best to advance things as well. Sit back and ball.
Shu with the roll in and the roll back out to help Melty win that mid matchup. And Melty is tapping like there's no tomorrow. That's 3 in a row to eliminate Levi. They advance forward once more. Melty with that super to get out of there if necessary. Needs 2 on a Stetampo. That's a difficult shot to hit on the left side. Going for another hypercharge shot in on the safe. He's going crazy. Has a super to escape if necessary, but keeping up the pressure. Levi only hanging on by a thread. Melty can't miss. Another on a Suzuku. Hypercharge in from Battleman. It doesn't really make that much of an impact, but Melty has established the consistent play at mid that is so necessary. Weird roll from Shu, but it gets him the win. Another one onto the safe, trying to take down Levi, and Reject keep up the pressure.
They really are. That is exactly what Reject are doing. They're just keeping the pressure on the entire time. Not allowing Zeta out the spawn, not allowing Zeta anywhere near towards the map. Look at Melty here as well, buying his time in that top right-hand side for his teammates to come back in. And it's not long before they do. Here they come. Shu coming in, lands bang on the safe, and gets it done for Reject. This is escalating out of control, and Zeta are losing their grasp on the situation. That's another set in quick succession here for Reject. They're just not taking their foot off the gas.
It's one set, Ark said. It's not a trend, Ark said. It could still go. It's just two. You know what?
टाइम्स आप बंद कर दो योगेश भाई आपको ये रेड कार्ड
It's been interesting to see how Zeta has been reacting, and they've been trying some things. It hasn't quite been working out, but what do you see from Zeta in their response to Reject here that might give us any hope in this possibly reversing results, or at least getting some Zeta on the board?
It's not really what I see from Zeta, it's what I see from Melty, to be completely honest. You know, that's the problem. I mean, he's tapping that entire game on that Piper pick, and that was the thing that I was saying coming into the draft. He's like, well, they chose to go But Melty was clearly the main offender there to focus their time and attention on better. I mean, if they'd gone with the Eve, and I'm not trying to like blow my own trumpet because I was suggesting it, but genuinely, like, that's the kind of thing that as a pro team, you kind of got to have an awareness to, of, like, you know, who the main issue is on that team and what brawlers they're likely to be better with. And I felt like that he was the problem. 9 takedowns by far, the most out of anyone. And it's not an easy map to make Piper work on, especially when you've got so much aggression going against you. So, you know, if they actually were placed on the back foot sometimes, pushed back in this spawn, getting out of a Piper is very difficult to do, and it could have been the very thing that allowed Zeta to really thrive there, but they just didn't get off the mark. And it's a concerning thing when you look at the fact that this could end up being a sweep right now. The exact opposite of our prediction.
Reddy, any thoughts you've got on how this is going? It's exciting hearing you call out in the game exactly how people are performing, moving these things ahead, but as we pull back kind of in between these matches, it's a less immediate reaction. So what are you thinking?
I think that Melty is on a tear right now. He seems unstoppable. I want whatever aimbot he downloaded, like, I need him to give me the link, because this guy cannot miss a shot if you paid him to do it. Into the Angelo. Angelo's like supposed to beat the Piper as well, not by DPS on the safe, but he's supposed to out-snipe her, and yet in every single matchup, he's getting the kills. Even when his team struggles to get damage on the enemy safe, he's still keeping the control. It is absolutely ridiculous, and also just a more team-based thing. I kind of like the draft better from Reject. You see the Piper early on, and Zeta literally did not respond to it at all. They had nothing that was good into that Piper except for the Angelo, and just going like one counter by one counter isn't really going to work when you're facing the constant aggression.
Can you really leave a Juju open on hot zone? Like, that's my... I mean, Zeta are not doing themselves many favors here, really. I mean, Stu, yeah, I mean, that's like my second favorite first pick to have on hot zone as a game mode, but it's Dooley Beatles as well. I wouldn't mind the Jesse pick coming through if the draft allows for it here, but it rarely is the case nowadays in terms of the meta, but it's one of my favorite brawlers to really rock into things. The Hypercharge is going to do a lot to that turret that Stu can't do much about as well, but Zeta as well, that speed zone gadget that Stu's going to bring into the equation, really going to get everyone off the mark very, very quickly here. Tankiness as well, of course, and Dooley Beatles is going to go a long, long way. The indestructible walls make such a big difference now. Be that as an idea to have in the back pocket for an insurance policy should Reject want to go down that very path. Frank, not opposed to it whatsoever. I think it has a good place in Dooley Beatles, despite the B even, honestly. I mean, it is hard once the Frank just continues to hold W forwards to really make much of a dent, even with a B on your pick side. So let's see how Reject fare about it. Certainly the Juju with the Gree is going to have a good time against tanks if Zeta wants to go down that path themselves. So a great draft. We'll play that as we speak. Now Bell coming into the equation, and man, you know how I feel about that in the hands of Rejects and the shoe. I mean, I'm scared. I'm really scared now.
I'm taking a look at some of the anti-Frank measures on Zeta Division's side, and they could incorporate this into their draft. Are they trying to force this from Reject? I feel like the way that you deal with the Frank is that you cap this off with a Colette, for instance. Colette's not going to be good into B. I think it limits Reject's